What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Zebec today, ZBCN USD. It is the 22nd day of June, and here we are sitting at $0.0247 with roughly 11 hours left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Let's get into it. Okay, let's talk about this here. You are moving up a little bit today, up 3% after a week of just blood to the downside. You are seeing a little bit of a reprieve today. There's 11 hours left in the day, though. There's still plenty of time to come back down and close the day red. I mean, you could move higher as well. Bitcoin's having a fantastic day today so far. Hell of a reversal, but again, there's a lot of time left for things to reverse on this said reversal. Let's look at the short-term stuff. Let's see what's going on. Just to give you an overall perspective of where my head's at with Zebec, I do believe, as I have believed since literally the tip top, you can go back to April 27th and watch that video. Or I guess it would have been the next day, the 28th, that we called for the high to be in. But anyways, on X on the 27th, we called for the high on that day, the 27th. But anyways, lower highs, lower lows. We are in this downtrend, moving down. And as time goes on, it's only getting more compelling. The evidence here that we are in a very firm downtrend, I think, is very compelling at this point in time. And of course, lower highs beget lower lows. So my expectation right now is that we're set to go below this low here, and inevitably we will go below this low here. I do firmly believe that Zebec will see prices that are not only below this low, but below 0.001 inevitably. So not financial advice, not a financial advisor. If you're holding Zebec, that does mean that in time, how much time, I don't know. Maybe a week, probably not. Maybe a month, maybe. Maybe a few months, probably. You're going to be down 40% or more, okay? And I mean, really, below 0.001, that would put you down 60%-ish or more, okay? So lower levels are coming in time. I thoroughly believe that that's your destiny, and I even believe that you could see new all-time lows by the end of this year. So that's my overall kind of perspective. But we're going to keep it short term. I don't care to talk about the long-term stuff too much because the long-term stuff doesn't really change. We haven't seen anything that merits changing the long-term strategy. So short-term stuff, low to high, wrestling around this 0.5 area. You've rejected the 382 a couple of times. I think if you were to break higher, you would have done so, and you didn't. So lower is probably the scheme that we're working on here. The golden ratio stands to find support. At least I believe it will. The thought here that I was having, and I remember it very clearly in the beginning of the month, we were rejecting this. We were getting a lower high here. I was thinking we'd get oversold, and from there we might see the strongest move to the downside of this overall move so far. But since then, you've actually stagnated. You've been moving sideways, chopping, and your RSI has done the same thing, so much so that you've actually broken out of this downtrend in the RSI. So there could be a little bit of a reprieve, a little bit of upside coming your way. Not only that, if you go down, because you're no longer in this trend, I don't have so much of a suspicion anymore that we're going to see this oversold zone come into view. So I do believe that in time we will go below this low, but maybe just not yet. Okay, maybe not right here. I forget when my last video on Zebec was. We were talking about going up to 0.003, I want to say, or higher. We got pretty close. You were above the 382. You got pretty damn close. Maybe it was 0.0318. Maybe that was the target. That still could be the target from here. So yes, I do believe we're working our way down. We're going to go lower, but perhaps first you get a little bit of a bull trap where you break out of this descending trend line here. You get above it. Maybe even get a relative higher high here, but it's still a lower high overall, and you get people excited. I forget what let me see when my last video on Zebec was, because then I can have a better understanding of where the price was. Hold on. It was on June 18th. Okay, so June 18th was the last day of my video on Zebec. So we were bullish on it. I want to say we were bullish on it, wasn't I? Yeah, we were bullish on it on the 18th, and we've actually dropped since then. So the price action that we've seen over the last few days does change things a little bit. Perhaps we're not going all the way up to 0.0318 or 0.032 like we originally expected, but I really could see us getting above this high still, or at least back testing this 382 level. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Ultimately, it does look like there's a magnet attached to you to pull you down to this golden ratio zone. Ultimately, I do believe we're going lower, but again, that's long-term stuff that doesn't really change too often. Stochastics are oversold, reset, maybe ready to bounce a little bit, recover. The RSI again showing not bullish signals here, but certainly less bearish signals, right? Looking at this through the scope of the 1 hour time frame, the RSI here is getting overbought, stochastics overbought, and the MACD is looking like it wants to push through the zero. That's all bullish stuff, you guys. We look at the 4 hour time frame here, and the stochastics are pushing higher. The MACD is bearish, if we're being fair, and the RSI is bearish, but you're taking on a bit of a bullish shape as well. So there's definitely some hope to recover here. I would suspect, and I do suspect that we'll see that. Looking at the daily time frame, again, stochastics reset. The MACD is bearish overall, but you're starting to build some bullish momentum here. You've got a little bit of a green drive, so hold that. Close today here or higher and see if you can move higher. If you do come down, if you don't hold the line here, and if we do start getting daily closes below 0.0024, I would forego this idea of a bounce at all. Anywhere from 0.0028 to 0.0318, right? That's kind of the expectation. I would forego that expectation as soon as we get a day to close below 0.0024. If we do that, likely we are just working our way down. We're probably going to go lower. So I don't really have anything else to say. I think I've said enough. It's a bit confusing, perhaps, for some people because we're talking about going down while also talking about going up. That's not a trick. That's not to be like, it's going to do this or it's going to do this, and if one of them happens, haha, I'm a genius. No, that's not the purpose of that. It's more so that I'm giving you my overall outlook, which is bearish. That was the starting point. But then as we get into the fine details, there is a little bit of reasoning, I think, to find some support here and move up higher, potentially even getting above this high. I could see that happening. And it's right then at that point that we become very, very bearish again. Screaming from the top of our lungs, get out, abandon ship, it's probably time to go down. But all that bounce is malarkey if we get a day today, tomorrow, any day to close below 0.0024. And we're pretty close to that now. So just be aware of that. Ultimately, I do believe we're going lower. Ultimately, the idea is, sell, get out, stay away, don't buy. But there might be a tradable opportunity on that note. If you have tight stop losses, I mean, let's imagine this real quick. Let's say that you do want to trade this. From here to 0.0024, that's only a 3% loss. Whereas from here to 0.0028, that's a 13% gain, potentially all the way up to 0.031. Was it 318? It's a 28% gain. That's some pretty good risk to reward metrics right there, you guys. Pretty damn good. So if you have tight stop losses, I think this is a tradable moment for Zebec. Sometimes, sometimes you take a trade expecting that you're going to win and you do take a slight loss. But again, that's why it's a tight stop loss. You don't want it to be a significant loss. Just food for thought there. I think this is a tradable moment, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.